Well, Engage has recently launched their Engage Link platform, which is billed as the business metaverse. This came shortly after their Engage 3.0 update, and I think now there's a 3.0.1 update out as well. So it's been a busy period for the guys and girls over there in Ireland. But the purpose of this particular video is to scratch a little bit deeper at considering what really is the potential for these supposed business metaverses, and consider how we might be able to harness the potential and the capability of this technology to, as I said, go a step further, go that extra mile in allowing us as human beings to do business better, to communicate with others better, and really just reconsider maybe even what we do in the physical realms. So as I'm talking, you can see some of the footage that was taken from the Engage platform as I'm perusing or mooching around their Engage Link spaces, which is effectively a kind of a central location you can plonk yourself in, and then it feeds into a whole network of different spaces which kind of cater for different needs. You can also see some big name brands out there like Lenovo and Pearson, and you're going to be seeing that in some of the footage soon, that have already put their stake in the ground in this business metaverse. And you can check those out soon. I'm smiling because there's going to be people screaming at me and throwing their dinners at the screen with the mention of the word metaverse, because I don't think many of us are really aligned as to what that even means. But anyway, you get what I'm talking about. But as I said, the purpose of this particular video today is to scratch a little bit deeper, and I want to talk to you a little bit now about the topic of networking, because I'm sure many of you in the business world have maybe had the opportunity of going to networking events. This could be, an evening after work where you go to some bar and you're given a name tag and you need to pretend that you care what the other people are talking about, until finally, hopefully, you bump into someone that maybe is going to impact your professional life in some way or not. I guess we could open up the conversation about what it is that makes a successful networking event. But in my mind, and you can leave your comments below, it's first and foremost going to a place where you're not really leaving too much down to the element of surprise, in that if I'm working in the software development industry, I want to be bumping into and rubbing shoulders with, at that particular event, people who are, in that particular ballpark. I don't want to be talking to people who are offering us, organic cat food. That would not be very helpful for me. So when I'm walking around this Engage Link, what's running through my mind? Well, number one, what I do like about this is the persistent space. This place that you can access 24/7 adds the surprise element for sure. That's a value added. Bumping into people that ordinarily maybe you wouldn't have the opportunity to rub shoulders with. So that in and of itself can open up your own horizons and get you talking to other human beings, which in controlled and limited ways throughout the 24 hours of your day could be of value to you. But let's get to the point of what I'm really looking for in a space like this. And caveat to all of this, it's still in development, clearly. To be honest, I don't think something like this is ever finished, is it? Let's be honest. And kudos to the team at Immersive VR Education, or EngageX, as I think they're now officially known, for at least providing this meeting space effectively to us. They've built a shopping centre, they've built a pub, a bar, a cafe, a restaurant, whatever you want to call it. They've built somewhere that virtually you can meet with others around the world in real time, remotely, and that's wonderful. But let's try to go a little bit deeper and look at actually what do we want from a business perspective, because we can actually probably learn a lot from the physical networking events, talking on always obviously from the subject of networking here in this video, about what it is that we might want to see in Engage Link. Number one, I want a way to be able to easily connect with other users and maintain that connection if I want. And when we talk about harnessing the potential of virtual reality, this is, I think, where it really can come into its own with respect to, or in comparison to, experiences in the physical realm. What do I mean by that? When you are at a physical networking event, for example, you are stuck in front of someone, and it's not very polite maybe to just walk away from them after 30 seconds, even if a lot of the time you probably do want to do that. And I would extend that also to my personal life. What we want in Engage is to capture the potential of the technology in order to avoid those situations, to make it an even more efficient encounter. So, for example, one of the wonderful features that they could, and I'm hoping they might offer us in the future, or any other platform out there, is the ability maybe for you to make that first connection. Maybe you have like 30 seconds to get your message across. Who are you? What it is you're doing there in the first place in the virtual reality networking session in maybe Engage Link. And in those 30 seconds, if you have not successfully sold your story or introduced yourself in a correct way, the time finish is 30 seconds. Both parties, so both individuals, get an opportunity to continue that interaction or not. Could just be a little button, something that pops up. Do you want to carry on? Yes or no. If one of those people do not want to continue, then you're cut short, and in some kind of immersive virtual reality magic, you are removed from that individual. That seems pretty cold, but at the end of the day, that's what networking is, isn't it? You're not really there to make new friends with whom you can go and kick a football around the park on a Friday afternoon. You actually want to do business. So that could be a suggestion there. Another thing as well is actually maintaining those connections. Business cards. A bit of cards, and I'm sure a number of people watching this video have spent probably a little bit too much money on them. And I'm getting that scene from American Psycho pop into my mind now with Christian Bale, where they're kind of presenting themselves on the table there. They're kind of progressively more elaborate business cards. Something like that could be really, really useful, because as it stands at the moment, and again, it's not a criticism at the team of Engage, actually you can spread this across all platforms that I've personally experienced out there in the so-called Metaverse. There's nothing that, professionally speaking, allows me to kind of say, okay, I've made the connection with Susan in France, she's in this line of business, and how can I keep that open? Most of the time, I need to lift up the bit of plastic on my head, otherwise called a VR headset. I need to find a pen and write it down, or grab my phone and write the email address down so I don't forget who she was. So a way of easily exchanging that information, some kind of virtual business card, that's the point. And you could even feed that into the cloud, because Engage has the wonderful cloud feature where you can save your IFX, you can save your avatar recordings in the cloud. Why not do something along those lines where, okay, I want to make that connection with you, I get along with you, there's an opportunity here, boom, click a button in VR, and then that information gets fed into the cloud, and you can download that business card or synchronize it with your Microsoft account, whatever you want. But I think you get my point. The other thing as well is 3D models. Now, unlike the business card thing, which doesn't exist, and although there is a workaround with that, by the way, because you could get a kind of an image that you could import into the Engage platform, and you could kind of hand that out or show people, and they could take a photograph of that. So there are workarounds to that. But one thing for sure that does exist, and I really, really hope that this is exploited in the Engage Link experience as we go through the next weeks, months and years with this, is a way to really harness the power of the IFX or the 3D models. If you are at a physical business event, you might find it tough carrying along your kind of 2-ton water boiler that's going to revolutionize the way people or businesses heat water on an industrial level. That's just a random example that popped into my head. But the fact is, you can't always carry along your prototype of whatever it is that you're building. 3D models in Engage can allow you to do that. You can get them mocked up. There's photogrammetry experts out there. It could be real representations of what it is, or just get a kind of a low poly image, a low poly 3D model knocked up, splurt it into the Engage platform, carry it along in your virtual backpack to a networking event in the Engage link, and share with other networkers what it exactly is that you do. You could also take it a step further. Now we're really getting into the realms of harnessing or capturing the power of virtual reality to do things that ordinarily you couldn't do in the physical world, if I can get my words out. And that is use 3D models to conceptualize and to communicate the services that you offer. For example, it could even be from a data visualization perspective. You could have a 3D you sell toilet rolls. You could have a 3D model which represents the year-on-year projected growth of your particular niche toilet roll. Let's say we won't say chocolate, that's a bit weird, but flavoured toilet rolls. You're offering some kind of niche toilet roll. You go along to the Engage link. You've got a 3D model which encapsulates your year-on-year growth for the next 5 years. You meet investors, and you can say this is how it's, and the 3D model could be made up of little toilet rolls, gradually increasing in size, which demonstrates your increased revenue. I've really taken it into a weird direction there, but you get the point. The technologies there already exist on Engage. It's available in Engage link, so use it. And I'm really hoping that people will use it. And I'm also hoping that Engage will help people in understanding how to use it as well, because it's all about, kind of sharing that knowledge and encouraging people to go the extra step rather than just turning up saying, my name's Michael and I'm selling toilet rolls. Final ideas. And I've got some notes here, so that's why I'm squinting. Structured events, that's what we need. 3D models. We spoke about the magic potentially of the perpetual spaces, although it could be a little bit maybe unorganized. But that's just a quick kind of tour of my brain as I'm walking around Engage Link and considering the potential for a business metaverse. So just wrapping up, I like what they're doing. I like what I see, and I like potentially where they're going to be going, even though it feels like they've rolled it out a little bit too early, although maybe behind the doors of Lenovo and Pearson there are some real interesting ways that they're capturing the tools of the Engage platform, like we said before, the 3D models, and also other things like whether it's business cards, changing the way people interconnect with each other and connect on a business level with them. How can we go deeper? That's the real question for me, and I'm going to be really interested in the coming weeks, months and years to see how all of this evolves. So let me know what you think about these comments in the comments below, and don't be afraid to share your opinions, or if you just don't agree with what I'm saying, why not justify it, or just share a bit of abuse, and I'll make sure that I'll delete those particular comments. So enjoy the rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever it is in the world. Thanks for listening, and the future is interesting for Engage, and let's see where it all goes.